Thank you for joining us for our online update of the top stories today. I'm Linda Ogutu. The 2014 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education results were released today, with the Cabinet Secretary announcing an improvement from last year's results. More than 149,000 candidates attend the minimum university entry grade of C+ and above, which indicates that about 30% of the candidates have qualified to join universities under the National Placement Standards. Sharon Momanyi has the details.
Cometh the hour, cometh the man or woman, as they would say. Thousands of students who sat their KCSE exams in 2014 were an anxious lot as Education Cabinet Secretary Jacob Kaimenyi released the results today. Of the 483,630 students who sat the KCSE exams, 54% of them were male, while girls accounted for 223,884 candidates. There was an 8.3% increase in the number of candidates, with 446,696 students having sat the exam the previous year.
On behalf of the Council,
there was improved performance in the 2014 KCSE results. A total of 3,073 students scored straight A's, an improvement of the 2,722 students who scored a similar grade in 2013. 31% of the students who sat the exam scored the minimum university entry grade of C+ and above, mounting pressure on universities to find a place for them. As is the case every year, exam malpractice reared its ugly head. In 2014, 5 national schools are said to be involved in irregularities.
national schools. We take the cream of our country can engage in cheating exams. Where does that leave the rest of our students? Where?
The reiterated school ranking will remain a thing of the past, an issue that strikes a discord with other education stakeholders.
I wish to urge the media to respect this decision of the ministry. I further wish to note that for the KCSE examination, performance indices which are calculated to facilitate ranking have not been computed by the council.
Mtihani inatoa picha ya performance ya shule. Sasa bila hiyo picha, bila hiyo mira, basi mashule zitakuwa zinafanya nini? Itakuwa kienyeji. Tunaingia kwa elimu kienyeji. Na hii hatutakubali, sababu ranking ilikuwa the only tool ile ilikuwa ina zuia kudhoofika kwa hali ya elimu katika nchi hii.
Kaimenyi urged head teachers to strictly adhere to school fees structures issued by the government for different categories of public secondary schools.
Lazima tupate suluhisho ya infrastructure, sababu ndio inaleta fees juu, na pia ya wafanyakazi kwa shule. Teaching and non-teaching ndio hiyo inachukua gharama kubwa. Tukishapata hizo mbili, basi tuteremushe karo ya mashule.
Candidates are able to access their KCSE results via SMS on the number 22252. Sharon Momanyi, KTN.
All right, so the results were released this morning by Education CS Jacob Kaimenyi, of course, looking at the numbers of students who will most likely be able to make it into universities in this country. Let's take a look at the results all over the country, of course, as these results were being announced.
We truly work as a team, and for that reason we are able to achieve that which we have set to achieve.
I've no doubt that we among the schools which are the highest. We may not know what is the ranking of others. We are yet to get information. But all I also know is that we have our top 3 boys have done extremely well. They have very strong A's. I'm sure if there was ranking, perhaps we would not have missed among the top 10 will not have missed at least 3.
Our results are very good, as usual. We have everybody above C. The breakdown is out of 145 candidates.
Rooms. Know that you are working for the best and only the best. I was at one point tempted 46 on the way to the university, which is
the ranking system. I guess it will bring down the meaning of all this competition and healthiness.
Different reactions there to the students who performed well. Congratulations. For those who did not, it's not the end of the world. Let's now focus on security, or lack of it thereof. 5 members of one family are currently recuperating at a Nairobi hospital after they were seriously wounded by gunmen in a robbery incident. The gang of 5 struck at about 3 a.m. in the city's South B area, Golden Gate Estate, where they went on a firing spree, randomly shooting the family members who are of Asian origin. Guards at the compound said the gang used a ladder to scale a perimeter wall into the compound before they broke into the house. The thugs, who made away with property of an unknown amount, are said to have poisoned the family's dog before proceeding into the premise. All 5 members are admitted at Mater Hospital. Well, this is the second time the family's home has been raided in 3 years. Makadara OCPD Nehemiah Lagat said investigations into the attack have been launched.
We had a male, 57-year-old, who had gunshot wound to his left wrist. The patient was stable. He was taken to theatre. In theatre, surgical toileting was done. Wound debridement also was done. He's stable right now, and he's in the ward. He's recovering very well in the ward.
In courts today, 5 terror suspects to be held in remand for 15 more days as police continue with investigations, while the private developer behind the disputed Langata Primary School playing ground sues Land Cabinet Secretary. More of that in our courts roundup with Catherine Omwanto.
Salim Gitonga, Masla Hassan, Musa Hassan and Shukri Salat appeared before a Nairobi court where they were expected to take a plea for alleged acts of terrorism. Only Philip Ochieng, who is the 5th suspect arrested for a separate incident, took a plea. The magistrate, however, rules that the 5 suspects should be remanded for another 15 days after prosecutor Eddie Kadebe told the court that he needed more time to complete the investigations. The suspects are being held at Muthaiga Police Station. A senior manager of geothermal development company has been charged in court for issuing death threats to Star newspaper editor Charles Kerich. Eric Ndungu is accused that on 11th February this year he sent an SMS to Kerich allegedly threatening to kill him for writing negative stories about GDC that were published by the Star newspaper in regards to allegations of mismanagement and irregularities. Eric Ndungu, who denied threatening the journalist, was freed on a cash bail of 100,000 shillings or a bond of 200,000 shillings. The next hearing for the case will be on the 28th of April. Still in the courts, the private developer Mandip Singh Amrit, accused of illegally taking ownership of the Langata Primary School playground, has renewed his fight over the prime property with a fresh suit against Land Minister Charity Ngilu and the National Land Commission. Amrit wants the High Court to declare Airport View Housing Limited the legal owner of the disputed land it claims to have acquired between 1989 and 1994 after successfully amalgamating 2 adjoining pieces of land. The developer accuses Ngilu and the NLC of accessing the land without Airport View's permission as the registered owner of the land and publicly declaring the firm's directors land grabbers.
Detectives from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission today camped at the Kuna home of businessman Deepak Kimani, seeking to arrest him over the Anglo-Leasing scandal. However, the officers could not access the compound after the main gate was locked, with security guards instructed not to allow anybody inside the compound. Sources which could not be independently confirmed say Deepak Kimani left his Kuna house on Sunday evening and has never returned. But lawyer Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi moved to court this afternoon and filed an urgent application seeking orders stopping the arrest and prosecution of Deepak Kimani, his brother Rashmi and their father Chamnalal Kimani. Justice Luka Kimaro declined to issue the order sought and instead directed suit papers to be served upon the Director of Public Prosecutions for the matter to be heard on Wednesday. Now, Deepak is among 13 individuals and 3 corporate entities that the Director of Public Prosecutions, Keriako Tobiko, has directed the Anti-Corruption Commission to charge with various criminal offences related to Anglo-Leasing type security contracts. The 13 individuals are expected to be arraigned in court either on Wednesday or Thursday this week to face charges that include conspiracy to commit an economic crime, fraudulent acquisition of property, willful failure to comply with procurement laws, and abuse of office. That is a story we are keeping an eye on for you, and of course we'll let you know as soon as it develops. Now, at least 15 tons of ivory was set ablaze today under the supervision of President Uhuru Kenyatta at the Kenya Wildlife Service headquarters. While marking the World Wildlife and Africa Environment Wangari Maathai Day, the President said his government is committed to fighting poaching and upholding conservation on environment. He further reiterated that Kenyans should adopt to the culture of dedicating at least 10% of their land to planting trees.
Happy to report that concerted efforts in the war against poaching has started to bear fruit. This is due to the close collaboration between the law enforcement agencies such as the Kenya Wildlife Service, the National Police Service, Director of Public Prosecutions, and the judiciary to operationalize the Wildlife Act of 2013. At the regional level, we are collaborating closely with the neighboring countries to share information on poaching and illegal trafficking.
African countries are concerned about the scale and rate of the new threat to our endangered wildlife species. We are committed to combating the menace robustly and persistently until we dismantle the entire vile economy. Today, I once again assure the international community that Kenya's resolve to preserve humanity's shared heritage in wildlife is there. Our commitment to save our great species, especially the elephant and rhino, remains as strong as ever.
Let's focus on business news now. And we start with the effects of cheaper power in the country. Edible oils and personal care products manufacturer Bidco Africa has announced a lowering of the prices of its everyday consumer products effective this month. Bidco attributes this to lower production and operating costs emanating from cheaper power and fuel. The change in prices affects the recommended retail prices of popular units in the Bidco basket, including Golden Fry and Kimbo and Chipsy brands in that category, and of course Msafi, Kuku and Bull brand laundry bar soaps. Since last year, Bidco has reduced the prices of its products by 4% and 26%. In a move that is expected to lower the cost of living for the consumer, the manufacturer is also applauding government-led efforts to lower the cost of doing business and that of living, and anticipates that this year inflation will be controlled.
While prices of their commodities continue to remain high. However, some of the manufacturers such as Bidco Africa, the makers of edible oil and personal care products, have taken the lead to effect the much anticipated price drops. Since last year, the manufacturer has reduced the prices of its commodities by an average of 18%, with reductions on wholesale ranging between 4% and 26%. Some of its major products for which the consumers will pay less include a 1 kilogram pack of Kimbo and Cowboy cooking fat, which will now retail for 203 shillings, which is 11 shillings less. A 2-litre pack of golden fry will retail at 352 shillings, which is 20 shillings less, while a 2-litre pack of ufuta and Bahari vegetable oil will retail at 329 shillings, 19 shillings cheaper than previously priced. Should other manufacturers follow suit, such major price reductions are expected to keep inflation in check. In August 2014, inflation was quoted at 8.36%, but this has since come down to 5.61% as quoted in February this year due to a reduction in the cost of electricity and fuel.
Today marks the end of an era as Central Bank Governor Njuguna Ndung'u hangs up his gloves and bows out of CBK. Ndung'u has been CBK governor for the last 8 years and is retiring after the expiry of his second term in office. A student of economics, Ndung'u has received acclamation for increasing financial inclusion thanks primarily to the largely successful experiment with mobile money and the introduction of agency banking that saw Kenyans get easy access to the formal banking system. Moreover, Ndung'u has been lauded for maintaining stability of the banking sector thanks to the conservative approach he adopted to his regulatory obligations that more than once required lenders to boost their capital and adopt strict credit approval processes. As such, no bank failed under Professor Ndung'u's watch. The governor has also been credited with providing a stabilizing force in 2008 when post-election violence exacerbated external shocks leading to runaway inflation and high interest rates. However, the governor came under harsh criticism in 2011 when inflation rose to a record high as the shilling depreciated against major currencies, earning him the title of the worst central bank governor in Africa. Right, the Kenya Revenue Authority has reappointed John Njiraini to serve as Commissioner General for the next 3 years following the expiry of his first term. According to the Board of Directors, Njiraini has steered the agency to an all-time high tax collection from 707.3 billion shillings in 2011-2012 financial year to 963.8 billion shillings in 2013-2014 financial year. Njiraini is credited for rolling out technology and legal interventions to enhance tax compliance, which have led to a reduction in the cost of collecting taxes. Njiraini was named Commissioner General in 2012 by Uhuru Kenyatta, who was then Finance Minister, and has served under what some say is the highest pressure of any previous Commissioner General to collect revenue. President Uhuru Kenyatta has mounted pressure on government agencies and players in the private sector to utilize local innovations before going global. This comes as frustration mounts on young innovators to get the product into the market, leaving them at a disadvantage with a multitude of challenges ranging from funding to product absorption. The government now wants a more structured approach to enhance the local IT market. Abiagina has the details.
The country's technology sector is at a tipping point. The sector is among key areas that have been registering sporadic growth over the years, fueled by an increasing appetite for latest technologies.
So what next? Your Excellency, as you are here today, a great deal has been done to create what has become known as the Silicon Savannah. But there are still significant gaps in our approach that are holding back the ability of our local developers to make it to the top global list, such as fast companies. By harnessing the capabilities of both private and public sectors, we can formalize innovation ecosystems and make it a key driver of our economy.
We have positioned Kenya as an ICT destination of choice for most of the players in this sector. At the same time, we are looking at ways and means of ensuring that it's not just talk, but actually we go ahead and see ICT making a difference in our lives.
And now the president wants some drastic action to be taken to help grow budding techpreneurs.
We have spent billions of shillings, billions over the years, importing various systems, 90% of them which don't work and lie idle in offices here. You know it as well as I do. Paying huge amounts in license fees. And yet the same is available right here and we cannot support our own people. You know, it's actually something that we need to really look at and consider. The forensic apps that we saw, why can we not have them working with our police? Why are our police looking for imported solutions and yet the solution is right here? Let us support, and that way we grow their industry, we get them known. They will be exporting to those countries where we import from. The app for students who are deaf, why can they not work in conjunction with our Ministry of Education? Why do we need to look for other solutions and we have our own?
We, at the ICT Authority, have very clear marching orders to ensure that it's not all talk, but we actually grab these opportunities and ensure that we work towards transforming this sector for the good of the livelihood of all of us.
I think from me, and I want to direct Bwana Yinda and you yourself, Fred, put these people in touch with our ministries. Let our monies be used to support our industries as opposed to buying products from outside. Let us be the bridge that helps them, and then private sector can move in the background. But we as government should take the lead. Yeah? Government procurement must be used to facilitate and to develop our own industries, our own innovators first. If we didn't have the capacity, that would be another matter. But we have seen them there working. So we have the capacity. So why do we need to look outside when we have it ourselves?
According to tech developers, the absorption rate of locally developed applications is considerably low. A good number of firms rely on off-the-shelf applications from established brands, which has slowed down the growth of homegrown tech solutions.
Technology, instead of existing as a peripheral value add, has the potential to cross-sector change and to transform lives and the communities in line with our digital Kenya promise.
Well, the launch of the ICT Forum was characterized by a huge attendance by various innovators just trying to showcase what they have to offer. But the underlying theme around innovation in Kenya is still riddled with issues of poor funding, which innovators hope that the government will be able to tackle moving forward.
I think the second thing is also to ensure that we have adequate funding.
Young innovators in the country have been making inroads in as far as development of mobile and web-based applications is concerned. The rise of the local industry is estimated to see the total contribution of the ICT sector rise to well over 8% to the country's GDP. Although significant strides are being made on the technology front, basic facilities such as incubation hubs are still not enough in the country, which inhibits creativity.
Innovators today who will have impressed
For developers now, it will be more of developing pocket-friendly applications which can easily sell to the typical small and medium-sized enterprises, even as they look forward to clinching the attention of blue-chip companies in the future. Abiagina, KTN Business.
Right, let's wind this up with a look at sports, and a section of KPL Premier League chairman risk civil jail for contempt of court. The civil division judge, Lady Justice Aburili, today asked the feuding Football Kenya Federation and the Kenya Premier League Limited to resolve their differences before Thursday. The judge zeroed in on 7 Premier League club chairmen led by Gor Mahia's Ambrose Rachir for going against a court order. FKF, through its chairman Sam Nyamweya, had acquired a court order restraining KPL from organizing and supervising a 16-team Premier League. KPL, however, played the first round of matches, claiming they had not been served with the orders. The court now wants the two parties to iron out their differences before Thursday with a bid to ending the parallel leagues. The KPL officials who risk contempt of court are Ambrose Rachir, Alan Kasavuli, Eli Kulekwa, James Musyoki, Bob Mondro, Jack Oguda and Gol Juma Munyikal. They are required to appear in court in person when the application for contempt comes up for hearing next week. The court, through FKF lawyer Eric Mutua, rejected an application by band officials Sam Shuley and Dan Shikanda to be adjoined in that case. And that, of course, is where we leave it. Thank you so much for watching our online update of the day's top stories. I'm Linda Ogutu.